Hey everyone, I'm often asked, John, you've been at this a long time. You've been working with a lot of executives. Is there any common threads? Are there any common threads about the issues that you're finding with executives? Well, actually, there are. I call it the big five, but the top two are communications. One wouldn't think that, would you? Communications, and the other is decision making. Communications and decision making, two things you would expect that senior leaders are very good at. Well, the reality is they're not at all. Today, and for the next few sessions, we're going to talk about executive level communications. All right. So hang with me. Here's a question I have. What is the most powerful sound on the face of the earth? The most powerful sound on the face of the earth. Take a second and think about it. Okay, did you hear that? Did you hear the baby cry? Did the gooing and oohing? I know you did. And you probably sat there smiling and, oh, that's so wonderful. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But the whole point of communications is that it's the sound of the human voice. That's the most powerful sound on the planet. It can crack ice. It can crack glass. It can start wars. It can end wars. It can do a whole lot. It can make people peaceful. It can make people ready to pull their hair out. The sound of the human voice, your voice. So we're going to talk today a little bit about executive level communications. Let me start with what I call level 4 communications and a number of books on communications. And I have a few that I'm going to recommend to you somewhere in this little series that you should be reading. Well, heck, I'll talk about it right now. If you haven't read Crucial Confrontations, if you haven't read Just Listen by Golston, if you haven't read Bosses Never Split the Difference, and you're the CEO, you want to be the next CEO, you're a CEO in training, and you haven't read those books on communication, shame on you. You need to, because if you're going to learn something, please learn it there. And a pretty neat story is Voss, if you've read his book, and you'll find some similarities when Golston, then you realize that, wait a minute, Voss was a student of Golston's. Okay, I get it. They went to Harvard. I got it. But let's get back to this. I call it level 4 communications. Level 4 communications, it's mirroring, it's action, it's emotions, it's multilingual. Okay, mirroring. Mirroring is what we're doing right now. Mirroring is I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, we're engaged. And that's the first level of communications. We have to be engaged with one another. When the reality is, you're looking at me and you're waiting for me to shut up because you got something to say. Or you just might cut me off. So much for level 1 communications. We fail miserably at that. The second is action. These are action words. These are, hey, go do, go this, go that. These are action words. Okay, we tend to get that pretty well. The third thing is emotions. We speak with emotion. We speak so it can be heard. We speak so it can be felt. Then multilingual. Oh, John, are you saying I've got to learn to speak Spanish or Chinese? Well, no, I'm not saying that, although if you could, that would put you so far ahead. But the reality is multilingual is this. People who work with you, for you, we all come from different backgrounds. We all have cultural differences. And in the United States, isn't that wonderful? I mean, we're supposed to be the melting pot, right? So we need to understand who we're talking to, what we're saying, how we're saying it, because being multilingual is being able to communicate across the board. That's what it is. It's about getting what's in my head clearly into your head. And the reality is, here's what it looks like. I spent a lot of time on this slide. So please admire this slide. Please pay attention. I hope you can see it. There it is. Can you see that? Communications. Look at that slide. I spent a lot of time on this. Did you get that? In my head, it's this beautiful spiral, but in your head, it's jumbled up. What in the hell is he talking about? That's how we tend to communicate, folks, believe it or not. And you're going to stop and say, well, John, that's not true. It's not true because when you're communicating to me, I'm listening. I get it. I got it. Well, hold on. There's a reason for this. This is high-level communications, folks. I am not talking about riffraff. I'm talking about you, executive. You communicate. It's horrible. You communicated, John, I need you to go get this done. Da, da, da. You give me instructions, so on and so on. And I go off. You got it? I got it. And I go off into the sunset and I get it done, right? No, holy cow, I don't get it done. I come back and you're looking at me like I'm from Mars. What the hell did you do, John? Well, I did what you asked. I didn't ask that. Holy smokes. It's not clear. And who is going to look at their boss? Think about it yourself. Who is going to look at their boss and tell them they didn't understand or I didn't get it? No, instead you run off, you get it done, you get something done, and you're hoping beyond hope you got it right. Well, that's not communications. It's not good communications. And that's what we'll be talking about over the next few sessions. So when we talk about communications, we always talk about you got to listen. You got to listen. Absolutely right. You've got to listen. So since that's our biggest problem, and I think we don't listen to people. So the first thing we're going to start with is transmitting. So how do I speak so somebody wants to listen? This has gone on just about long enough. So now you have an understanding. The next session we're going to get together, we're going to talk about transmitting. How am I speaking so people want to listen? What? Yes. Let's start there. Speak so people want to listen. Okay, that's on you. The responsibility for communications, clear and succinct communications, always lies with the leader. It always lies with the leader, not the recipient. It's the transmitter. So you, leader, let's talk about how we transmit, how we speak so people want to listen on our next go. Is that good? Perfect. Talk to you in a few. Bye now.